Hello, what's going on, everybody? Jim from Grassroots Piano, and what do I have behind me on the piano? I wrote a method book this summer, and it was a lot harder than I thought. I had a lot of the material, some of it was up here, but all the software, and I had no idea music engraving is so intense when it comes to publishing. But what's fun is it's done, and now we're going to take a look at a few of the pages. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Here we are. Look at the front part of the book. I would say I came up with this book, this piano method book, for at least two reasons. One of them is I'm very fortunate. Earlier this year in 2025, I had a few adult learners, very beginner, one wanted a refresher to learn piano. So they kindly bought my course. Thank you. I also had a chance to work with them, and we would meet a few times a month and go through the course and give them private lesson tips and all that stuff. What I noticed is the PDFs are great. Me, I'm pretty creative and I'm not that organized. And this room has lots of PDF printouts right now. So there's a learning flow issue. And also, I'm just the type of person at my age, sometimes I just like to put some music on a stand, in this case, a book. So that's one of the reasons I came up with this book. The other reason is there's a lot of good method books out there, but sometimes they pack in too much and learners don't learn how to, in this case, read music that well because there's so many other skills happening all at once. So what I've done, or the best I can do, because a book is a pretty big endeavor, I said endeavor, but endeavor, I try to encompass a lot of the skills that I've observed over the decades and brought them into this beginning piano method book for adults, or even a book for someone who wants refreshers. So you got your forward here, save you the details. And this section here is very important because I talk about why the exercises are the way they are. And there's about 110 plus exercises in here. Then we have our table of contents. Everything kind of goes in a curriculum order, especially chapter 3 is the meat and potatoes. There's a lot of stuff going down there. And I'm pretty much just archiving on a lot of stuff I've observed when adults, in particular, adults are learning. And then chapter 4 is meat and potatoes, but it's not that hard because if you do all the work in chapter 3, you get to see the benefit of layering. And who doesn't love chords? So in here, we do some chord learning. Before that, I throw in some theory and all that. And then we got some chord inversions, and I have some activities. And then my favorite part, the song vault. And what I did in the song vault, I'll just go to it real quick in a bit. It's page 65. I'll go there in a second. But in the beginning, it's like a lot of method books. Try to keep it very simple. There's me. I'm also very excited, so I'm a little goofy. Like, that's me. You could buy the book and draw a mustache on me if you want. I know some of you are probably like, just show us the book, Jim. And this is, again, a lot of refreshers, very basic. And here I have different acronyms, how you want to learn the notes, like many method books. But then when it comes into page 7, I go into basic note names. And then I start reiterating some things. So a lot of symbols, a lot of definition, right away, some basic activities to get your brain started. So there's a lot of hands-on. You can write in your stuff, and I bring stuff up slowly but surely. Some of you know all of this, so you could probably get right to the reading. And then I throw in the good old diagrams. And on purpose, if you look at this page and then this page, they're very similar, but I want the readers to get used to on what's happening with the notes going up and down. So this looks easy, but if they follow the goals and the tips, I put it in here, and then also again in the videos I talk about what to focus on. By the way, this was like 2 years in the making as far as archiving all the exercises and brainstorming. And the method book does have a few extra goodies in there just for because of how books work. And I'll show that in a second. And then we just start getting into some basic playing, and it's supposed to be redundant, so each time the learner goes through an exercise, they can improve and get other skills, whether it's technique. Some learners look at their hands, look at their music a lot, so it's all broken down. And then, of course, the world of rhythm. And I have a whole spiel about rhythm, and that's one of the kryptonites for us music piano enthusiasts. And then in here we have the identification. This is the supplement section. I just get into the naming the notes right away, and we're only naming the notes that we're going to start playing. And the big part of the playing happens very soon. which is, this is the answer side from the other activity. And then we have the playing right away. And we show where the hands go. We got the diagram. Notice we just have one dynamic. You can ignore that. And it's just basic play. Then there's exercises that go on for the right hand. And then down here, there's the left hand. And then we build off of it, and I add both hands. So that is in summary on how a lot of the exercises work. Again, this says this in the forward. You have these 4 beat count-offs because it's me playing along with you, those who are involved in the course. Other stuff in the book, I talk about common problems that I see and possible solutions and checklists, and it helps me keep up to date with things. Every learner is different, so this is just like a synopsis, if you will. All right, so if we cruise through it, like what I do with books, we have a lot of exercises, a lot of different coordination exercises. This is a fun one. And one student said, well, will this help me play songs? Most definitely, because you're learning the language in a slow but yet clear manner. And if you are brand new at this, I've seen some people get this material down, if you're consistent, in maybe 2.5, 3 months time. But quality, I'd rather have someone improve in 4 months, as long as they can understand it. And then I do down here what's going on, basic music intervals. And then there's an activity here on what intervals are. And then we get into a good old classic Ode to Joy. And basically everything that I do with public domain songs have been taught organically in the exercises. So it just filters in. So you don't have to worry about too much. And we throw in the good old scales, one hand at a time with the fingering, and then both hands. And then I give them other tips, like here is songs and what songs begin with what intervals, just so you can see the practical theory, the relationship between music and the notation. It all, makes sense with patience. Sustained pedal exercises, and those who geek out, there's different symbols of pedal exercises. So I included a bunch because when you buy music eventually, you'll see different types of pedal exercises. And then here, I talk about pedaling, and then I give some goals that you can do in previous activities. And then we go into G position, and this is just you dialing in the notes, looking at the music here, and just going through it slowly. Number 4 is a bit ambitious, and that is extra credit if you can do. A lot of this has been re-edited because I've taught lessons and whatnot and used this. All right, so we're going to cruise through, because who doesn't like the song vault? What's fun about the song vault, I really like doing this. Oh, well, dotted rhythms. We won't talk about that today, but it's good stuff. We talk about accidentals, as you can see, sharps and flats and naturals, diatonic chords. It's value-packed. This is probably one of my bigger things I've done in my musical career out of 30 years, actually, because it's really intense. And a lot of it might seem simple, but you really got to go into what the learner's thinking and learning and all that stuff. So what I really like about this is I did an Ode to Joy prep. And so I talk about the concepts that you're going to learn or review. And then I make it easy where it's okay. Number 2, here we talk about the retardando, and then we talk about the tie. That number thing will make sense a bit more when I get into a harder piece. And a lot of the pieces I give more than one level. So with Ode to Joy, I throw in a very basic left hand, and then I increase it a little bit, and then it's half notes and a few different dynamics, and then I add in some eighth notes in here because we've done all of this work. And when you slowly add in a few different ingredients, it's not that hard. And that's where I've liked to shine as a teacher. And then we have very easy Clair de Lune prep. In this one, number 1, 3/4 time. Number 2, even though we've done it, I'd like to reiterate dotted half notes. So everything is itemized, like, hey, this is an important concept, or hey, this is something new, or do you understand this symbol? Oh, we're going to have an A flat when we get there. So I'm very excited about all that. Excuse me, the chord's in the way, not a musical chord. And then simple gifts is actually not that simple. I got a little carried away, especially if you play it fast. But I talk about that and give different benefits to fingering and whatnot. And then I had to throw in a holiday favorite. It's one of mine, Silent Night. And by the way, I am going to increase the song vault. I'm working on The Entertainer right now. Shenandoah is a little tricky, some rhythmic stuff here. I think you can see that in the corner of the screen. I'm very excited, and hopefully you guys don't mind me sharing this. I'm really just sharing it to let you know what I've been up to, because I've been very busy with this and website moving, so my videos have slowed down a little bit. With when the Saints go marching, and there's the prep there. We talk about all the repeat endings. And then with this one, I have a play along where I'm playing it and there's some drums in it for those who like playing with the band. So let me know if any of you have questions. If you want to support my family and buy a book, you can. I have a hard copy on Amazon. It got pre-approved. And I also have PDFs on my new website. No pressure, but I'll leave the links. Okay. And I'll see everyone soon. And a surprising moment is me working on book 2 already because I'm having so much fun. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but let me know if you're becoming a music reader, you want to play piano and all that good stuff, or if you have any questions, because I'm going to showcase some of the other exercises in this book in the near future. Also, I'm going to do some chord playing and maybe teach a Bob Seger tune called Still the Same. But for now, take care. Happy practicing. Bye-bye.